If the truth be told, and we were being totally honest, most of us don't like waiting. Waiting can be an excruciatingly frustrating experience, particularly when we're waiting for something to change, something to get better. But the worst kind of waiting, the most challenging waiting of all, is waiting on God. Imagine this. When God forces you to wait for things to get better in your life, for things to improve, to change, to reverse, and it feels like nothing is happening. And yet, time and time again, in the pages of the Bible, we are told to wait on the Lord. Now picture this. The most challenging place for you to be in life is in God's waiting room. What's God's waiting room, you ask? It's when you're in a hurry for something to happen, but God isn't. Some of you are in a hurry to graduate, to get married, to start a family, to launch a new business, to close that big deal, to reach that grand goal, that enormous dream, that significant accomplishment. Some of you are in a hurry for all kinds of different things, and God isn't. We as human beings despise waiting. We despise it, especially when we're waiting on God. Have you ever been in a hurry when God wasn't? You pray with all your heart, knowing it's God's will, but where is He? You find yourself in the waiting room of life, and your patience wears thin. You want to hurry God along. Some of you have been waiting for God to come through, and you're on the brink of giving up, feeling discouraged. But here's the reality check. God's standard time is not always running on your time. And let me tell you, it's in those waiting rooms of life where God shapes us and builds our character through the crucible of waiting. Yes, it's in the pain of waiting that we learn to trust God the most. Remember, without faith, it's impossible to please God. This is where He molds our character. While you're busy working on your project, your goal, your dream, your vision, God is quietly working on you. He's far more interested in you than in what you're trying to accomplish. Sometimes God says, I intend to give you what I've promised, but you're not ready yet. I want you to grow. When you're ready, then it's going to happen. So remember, a delay is not a denial. There's a massive distinction between no and not yet. And in those moments when God delays, when it feels like He's taking His sweet time, we may start feeling forgotten. We might think God has abandoned us, that He doesn't hear our cries, that our problems aren't important to Him. But here's the truth. You are not invisible. God knows exactly where you are, and He knows exactly what's happening in your life. He knows precisely how much you can take and how much you can't. He may not be early, but rest assured, He will never be late. God's timing is always perfect. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't have any time to waste. Let me tell you, you never waste time when you're waiting on God. You will discover that His timing is always the right time. Waiting on God doesn't mean you're waiting for nothing. It means you're waiting for something extraordinary. It's not about just getting what you want when you want it. It's about believing that when the timing is right, God will provide what you're asking for. Remember, God has a plan for you. And even when it seems like He's forgotten all about you, rest assured, He hears you, He sees you, and He knows exactly what's going on in your life. So my friends, trust in God's perfect timing and wait, because it's worth it.